On March 5, 2026, Iranian state television broadcast that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps had sunk the USS Abraham Lincoln, America's nuclear-powered supercarrier. They called it a graveyard for the aggressors. They released footage of the ship supposedly burning at sea. Iranian media declared the carrier strike group was fleeing at high speed. There was just one problem. The footage was fake. PolitiFact traced one clip to a video game called Arma 3. A second clip was flagged by AI detection tools as having a 96% probability of being artificially generated. And on the same day Iran said the Lincoln was destroyed, CENTCOM released photographs of FA-18 Super Hornets landing on the carrier's flight deck in the Arabian Sea. Jets don't land on ships sitting at the bottom of the ocean. And it wasn't a one-time claim. Iran made at least 4 separate contradictory assertions about hitting the Lincoln between March 1 and March 14. First, it was 4 ballistic missiles, then 4 cruise missiles, then naval drones in the Sea of Oman. Then Iranian state TV declared the carrier was completely inoperable and fleeing the area. Each version contradicted the last. CENTCOM mocked the shifting stories directly, posting, "First, the Iranian regime claimed and reclaimed, 5 days in a row, that it sank USS Abraham Lincoln. Now the regime claims the aircraft carrier has miraculously resurfaced." But here's what makes this story genuinely unsettling. While Iran was fabricating victories, the United States was conducting the largest destruction of a navy since World War II. And the real details are more dramatic than anything Iran invented. Let me walk you through what actually happened. On February 28th, the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury, a coordinated strike campaign targeting Iran's military infrastructure, nuclear facilities, and leadership. The opening salvo killed Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Within hours, Iran began retaliating with missiles and drones across the entire Middle East, hitting U.S. bases in Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. And almost immediately, the IRGC declared the Strait of Hormuz closed to all shipping traffic. That strait is 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. Roughly 20% of the world's seaborne oil passes through it every single day, about 13 million barrels. When Iran said nothing gets through, they backed it up. IRGC fast boats began broadcasting VHF warnings to every vessel in range. By March 2nd, tanker traffic had dropped to effectively zero. Over 150 ships anchored outside the strait rather than risk passage. According to Bloomberg, insurance premiums for transit surged to 5% of a ship's total value, which for large crude tankers means an additional $250,000 per crossing. The economic impact was immediate. Brent crude oil, which had been sitting around $69 a barrel before the war, crossed $100 on March 8th. It peaked at $126 per barrel. That represents the largest energy supply disruption since the 1970s oil crisis. Qatar's energy minister warned that if the war continued, Gulf exporters might be forced to halt all shipments entirely. But Iran wasn't just blocking the strait. They were attacking ships inside it. The Palau-flagged tanker Skylight was struck near Oman on March 1st, killing 2 Indian crew members. The Marshall Islands-flagged MKD VYOM was hit by an explosive drone boat, killing 1 Indian sailor in the engine room. The US-flagged tanker Stena Imperative took 2 projectile strikes while docked in Bahrain, killing a port worker. According to the Joint Maritime Information Center, Iran conducted at least 21 confirmed attacks on merchant vessels by March 12th. GPS jamming from Iranian electronic warfare systems affected over 1,600 ships, according to maritime intelligence firm Windward, with vessels falsely appearing on tracking systems at airports and even near a nuclear power plant inside Iran. So what did the United States do about all of this? They destroyed Iran's navy. Not weakened, not degraded, destroyed. On March 1, President Trump posted that the U.S. had sunk 9 Iranian warships. By March 2, CENTCO confirmed that every single Iranian vessel in the Gulf of Oman had been eliminated. Their statement read, 2 days ago, the Iranian regime had 11 ships in the Gulf of Oman. Today, they have 0. By March 5, the count was over 30 ships. By March 11, over 60. On day 22 of the conflict, CENTCOM, Commander Admiral Brad Cooper gave a video briefing. According to Stars and Stripes, he stated that U.S. forces had struck over 8,000 military targets inside Iran, including 130 Iranian vessels. He called it the largest elimination of a navy over a 3-week period since World War II. The individual kills tell the story. On March 1, U.S. forces struck and sank a Jamaran-class corvette at the Konarak naval basin near Chabahar in southeastern Iran. According to Naval News, the ship was one of Iran's primary domestically built warships, caught at its berth during the opening hours of the campaign. Then came the Shahid Bagheri. This was Iran's most ambitious naval asset, a converted container ship roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier, about 42,000 tons, fitted with a 180-meter runway for launching drones. It had been commissioned just 13 months earlier, on February 6, 2025. Admiral Cooper described the moment at a press conference. The carrier was on fire as he spoke. CENTCOM released black and white footage showing 2 impact points amidships with flames spreading across the hull. Iran's forward base ship, the Iris Makran, was also hit at Bandar Abbas. Originally a Japanese-built crude oil tanker displacing about 121,000 tons, the Makran had been converted into a mothership for helicopter and special operations deployments. Satellite imagery analyzed by Joseph Dempsey at the International Institute for Strategic Studies showed the Makran ablaze at its pier with thick black smoke rising over the entire naval facility. But the most controversial engagement happened thousands of miles from the Persian Gulf. On March 4th, the Iranian frigate Iris Dina was sailing through the Indian Ocean south of Sri Lanka, heading home after participating in a multinational naval exercise hosted by India called Milan 2026. 74 countries had participated in that exercise, including the United States. At approximately 5 a.m. local time, the USS Charlotte, a Los Angeles-class nuclear attack submarine, fired 2 Mark 48 heavyweight torpedoes at the Dina. One struck beneath the hull. The ship sank within minutes. Sri Lanka's Navy responded to a distress signal but found only patches of oil and sailors floating in the water. They recovered 87 bodies. They rescued 32 survivors, including the ship's commander. According to Iran's army, 104 crew members were killed. According to CNN, it was the first time a U.S. submarine had sunk an enemy vessel with a torpedo since August 14, 1945, the final day of World War II, when USS Torsk sank a Japanese frigate. Iran's foreign minister called it an atrocity at sea. Tehran claimed the Dina was unarmed because multinational exercises typically require ships to carry no live ammunition. U.S. Indo-Pacific Command rejected that claim. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth described the sinking in a press conference as a quiet death. I haven't been able to independently verify whether the ship was armed or unarmed. Both sides are telling very different stories. Now let me address the U.S. casualties, because this part deserves a different tone. Iran's retaliation wasn't limited to the Strait. Missiles and drones hit U.S. installations across the Gulf. The IRGC launched over 230 attack drones at bases in Kuwait alone. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar took 2 ballistic missiles and a drone that damaged a $1 billion early warning radar. The U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain was struck multiple times. And it wasn't just U.S. targets. The UAE's Ministry of Defense reported intercepting 341 ballistic missiles, 15 cruise missiles, and over 1,700 drones launched from Iran. Dubai International Airport, one of the busiest airports on the planet, was hit by drone strikes and temporarily shut down. And there was one incident that barely made the news, but says a lot about how close things got to the carrier itself. According to CBS News, an Iranian vessel sailed close enough to the Abraham Lincoln that a U.S. Navy warship opened fire with its 5-inch Mark 45 deck gun and missed multiple times. A helicopter was then scrambled and struck the Iranian vessel with 2 Hellfire missiles. When CBS asked CENTCOM for comment, the response was, "We have nothing for you on this." According to Defense Scoop, as of March 24th, 13 American service members have been killed in Operation Epic Fury. 290 have been wounded. The deadliest single incident happened on March 1st at Port Shuaiba in Kuwait, where an Iranian drone struck a tactical operations center. No warning siren sounded. 6 Army Reserve soldiers were killed. Major Jeffrey O'Brien, 45, Iowa. Captain Cody Cork, 35, Florida. Sergeant First Class Noah Teachins, 42, Nebraska. Sergeant First Class Nicole Amor, 39, Minnesota. Sergeant Declan Cody, 20, Iowa. Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert Marzin, 54, California. Sergeant Benjamin Pennington, 26, from Kentucky, was wounded at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia and died on March 8th. 6 more airmen were killed on March 12th when their KC-135 refueling tanker crashed in western Iraq, an incident still under investigation. On March 24th, Trump claimed that Iran fired 101 missiles at the Abraham Lincoln and every one was intercepted. I should flag that CENTCOM has not independently confirmed that specific number. Here is where things stand as of today, March 25. On March 21, Trump posted a 48-hour ultimatum telling Iran to fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or the U.S. would obliterate their power plants. Iran responded by threatening to destroy all American and Israeli energy infrastructure in the region. But on March 23, Trump backed off, announcing productive conversations and postponing strikes for 5 days. Iran's government denied any talks were happening. Their foreign ministry stated there is no dialogue between Tehran and Washington. But CBS News reported that Iran confirmed receiving a U.S. proposal through Pakistani mediators and is reviewing it. On March 24, the U.S. delivered a 15-point ceasefire plan. According to multiple outlets, the demands include dismantling all nuclear enrichment capability, surrendering 450 kilograms of enriched uranium to the IAEA, full inspections access, ending proxy funding, and keeping Hormuz permanently open. In exchange, full sanctions relief. Iran's military spokesperson responded on state television by telling the U.S. not to disguise their defeat as an agreement. Meanwhile, according to Bloomberg, the 82nd Airborne Division is deploying roughly 1,000 to 2,000 soldiers to the Middle East. Iran has started allowing some ships from countries it considers non-hostile to pass through the strait, according to Al Jazeera. Brent crude is sitting around $100 a barrel, and the human rights activist news agency estimates that over 3,200 people have been killed across the conflict, including more than 1,400 Iranian civilians. The 5-day pause on power plant strikes expires around March 28. That is 3 days from now. If you want to stay informed on what happens next, subscribe. I cover these developments the moment they break. YouTube thinks you should watch this video next. Click it now.